Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I messed up the intro like 3 times. How could you mess up hey everybody? Crazy. Anyways, so we're gonna watch a video by Asmongold. I like Asmongold. There's some things I agree with him and some things I don't. Which should be the case for you, for everybody. There's no way you can agree with literally every single thing with a person. There's no way. This is not possible. So it is Joe Rogan reveals what Kamala Harris didn't want to talk about on podcast. Let's see. Let's see. I like Asmongold.
It was Biden's grin that captured attention on social media. Leaving many folks to speculate, why was he so happy?
He was very happy. Very.
One final fuck you to the Democrats. One final fuck you to the party.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'll see you later.
They kick him out?
He won. Yeah, he fucking won. Biden voted Trump.
He's the last vote.
Vice President targeted victory. Matt Gorman, former Clinton advisor.
I've got to say it, bro. People always say bald guys look like eggs.
That guy looks like...
Look.
That's... Whoa. Yeah, that's pretty eggy. Man, that's funny. Wow.
I mean, it is what it is, right?
Brian's and gentlemen, good morning to both of you.
Man.
He's so happy. Look at that smile.
Biden never looked
Dumpty
happier.
over there.
Joe Biden shares the same smile that most of America has right now. I don't. Matt, you see something there?
I have not seen him that happy since the last debate. I mean, I'm not even trolling. I mean, what if you're Kamala Harris?
I love how I'm not even trolling is on Fox News.
That looks like
and
a
it's
mask,
just normal now.
Look at Biden's face. That looks like a mask.
That's amazing.
Straight up.
What are you thinking right now? I mean, they were saying he's a fascist, Trump's a threat to democracy, this and that. And yet, do you smile that happily when you're next to someone who you think, ostensibly is evil? It kind of shows everything they were saying was just kind of a lie.
Right.
I mean, it was incredible. I have not seen Biden that happy in a long, long time.
Philippe, what you see?
Matt, I love you, but I just don't think that's the case.
Weird,
I mean,
huh?
Donald Trump also has some nasty things about Joe Biden, and he kept that to himself.
He's very giddy.
Is it really that crazy to imagine that two adults that, like, let's be honest, both of these guys are professional shit talkers, and they've been doing it for the better part of a century. They understand the game. Like, this isn't like, what are you talking about? Yeah, they're politicians. Of course, they're gonna talk shit about each other. Like if you go and you look at streams of me, and I see somebody that I don't like, I'm usually nice to them. It's fine. That's not a problem.
As I want to be, I liked seeing that. It is important. It's good that Joe Biden offered, which Donald Trump did not do in 2020. It's good that Donald Trump accepted. And it's not just a ritual. And I have to say, I think if it had been a couple hours later.
I like that. I like this, that they're coming together and, I'm trying to think. When Donald Trump, correct me if I'm wrong, but when it was Obama and he was getting out of the White House, it wasn't a smooth transfer. Like, I remember they locked the White House front door so Trump couldn't get in or something like that. Is that what I'm thinking? Am I right? I might be wrong. But I remember something like that happening. And to see, them like this talking and, Joe Biden does look like he really was against Kamala Harris's party. When she did run against him the first time, she was doing, saying horrible things about Joe Biden, like he's a racist, and you can look it up. But yeah, that's kind of crazy.
and the Matt Gaetz news had broken, I'm not sure the grin would have been as wide. But they both said the right things. What they next
I think it would have. Biden was the president of the United States. He was the vice president of the United States. He has a 40-year history of being a public servant. He's retiring as a rich guy, and he gets to spend the rest of his life on beaches with his family doing whatever the fuck he wants. I think that I feel like he's, again, it's like the last week of school and you're a senior. You know you're going to graduate. Everything's fine.
Biden's always been 2 scoops ahead, huh? Always.
He's not stressed out at all. Yeah, he won.
He did. Kind of.
I think they met for 2 hours.
I don't know if I would
and that's
say
the
he
really
won,
important
but...
part. And the one thing I would say is I hope
I get where
that
he's come from.
the president-elect took to heart some of what Joe Biden said, even if he disagrees with it. Because if you remember, President Obama told President-elect Trump to watch out for Mike Flynn. And it turned out that Mike Flynn was fired 23 days after the election started and ended up, being found guilty and needing a pardon. So it's actual work
I remember him.
that's getting done. As far as the
He's a QAnon guy.
I'm glad that they both could put it aside and say the right words.
It is really funny that they were so happy to see each. I do think that this is probably one of the funniest things to happen. And my favorite, of the memes here is that Biden voted for Trump. I think it's so fucking funny.
Did you see that short where it's Biden walking out of I think it's a voting booth, and he smiles back, and it's Donald Trump's last voter or something like that? Hilarious.
Funny.
So funny.
Really am.
Okay, gentlemen, one other thing. There was a question about why she wanted to do the Rogan interview. And a lot of things went back and forth. And apparently Rogan went her in Texas, and they said, let's do it for an hour.
But multiple conversations, giving different dates,
Sorry,
different times, different this, different that. And we knew that she was going to be in Texas. So I said, open invitation. I think they had requirements on things that she didn't want to talk about. She didn't want to talk about marijuana legalization, which I thought was hilarious.
She didn't want to talk about that because of the time that Tulsi Gabbard brought that up in the debate that made her look like a retard. That's the reason why she didn't want to talk about it. Yep.
Hilarious.
Why?
That's so... Because of her prosecuting record, and,
He knows. He knows.
She put a lot of people in jail for weed.
A lot of people. And then she was asked, have you ever smoked weed? And then she did her, creepy laugh that she does. Instead of actually answering the question. Oof, cringe.
Yeah, you had this from one of the spokesmen. There was a backlash with some of our progressive staff that didn't want her to be on it and how there would be backlash.
What do you mean?
I hope they're happy. Hey, they got what they wanted. How about that?
I guess there's truth in there somewhere, gentlemen. Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's malpractice, right? You're worried about your staff's feelings and not, getting in front of tens of millions of voters more than
It's fucking ridiculous.
That is the dumbest thing.
Evening news even. And look, Rogan is a symptom of a larger cause, right? I don't think doing Rogan would suddenly win her the election, but...
Look at Joe Rogan's perfectly bald head, and look at that guy's. Joe Rogan has a normal... I'm not making fun of the guy. I don't know the guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy. But I'm just saying, I'm just talking about because he was talking about the eggheads earlier. He has I'd rather have a bald. If I'm going bald, I hope my head is more like Joe Rogan's bald head than that guy's. Does that make sense?
It spoke to a mindset of playing it safe, of keeping her from a lot of interviews for most of the campaign, of not taking risks, of not saying, hey, let's figure out 3 things where we can separate ourselves from the historically unpopular president in our party of, hey, let's cater to this interest identity group and that interest identity group instead of trying to win voters and build the broadest tent possible. Look, Rogan in itself didn't lose the election, but it was a mindset that informed all of that.
It does definitely glaze Joe Rogan so much that people are discussing whether going on his podcast or not was even a factor for winning the national election. Like, this elevated him so much. It was massive.
My
a lot of
feeling,
people that
Philippe, is
watched
that anytime
heard
you put
it,
conditions in
crazy.
an interview,
All right.
it's probably either not going to happen or it's not going to go well. And I think this other comment about progressive staff members being concerned about
That's
it,
so stupid.
There might be
Do
some
you
truth
think
in
that Kamala Harris is, she already had some issues. Do you think that she actually would have done better if she went on Joe Rogan? Do you think it would have affected her numbers that much? Probably a little bit, but I don't think, I think at that point, people were so fed up with her kind of avoiding question after question. And then on top of that, just not being able, just not being that popular from the get-go. She wasn't. And being president, unfortunately, these days is very much a popularity contest. I guess it was in the past because there was, there were presidents who were celebrities before, other than Donald Trump. So it kind of is a popularity contest in a way, but it's also, you have to have some sort of ideas of what you're going to do. She kind of failed on all of those, and I don't think her going on the show would pretty much do anything. But anyways, whatever.
about the infight.
That's so fucking, like, that's what's so crazy to me about this is that the level of selfishness that some people like that have, the fact that they're going to put their feelings and their own, like, personal desires, like, do you want to win the election or do you want likes on Twitter? What do you want to do?
Likes.
I wonder. Would you ever go on Joe Rogan podcast? Guys, I'm not that important, okay? Like, the guy has on, like, Elon...
And Trump gave preconditions to the interview with National Association of Black Journalists. He didn't want to be fact-checked, and he did the same thing in terms of trying to work the refs, which he's very good at, on the debates. But I'll say this, look, I think the most important thing about this is that Rogan said that she said okay. So, look, I don't have any inside information here. I would say that the idea that she didn't go into... I won't say the lion's den, but the fox's den is a little crazy because she sat with your colleague Brett Baer, which is more than President Trump did the other way around. And I think that they don't want to legitimize alternative media.
Yeah.
That's really what they're worried about. And I think that the establishment doesn't want to legitimize things like podcasts and streams. And that's really where it's coming from. And you see this happen a lot, PewDiePie effect. Yeah, it happens to PewDiePie. It happens to, I think it happens to a lot of people. It happens to Mr. Beast. It clearly didn't work. Yeah, exactly. Because they don't control it. Exactly. Well, that's the reason why. They want to delegitimize it because it's decentralized and they don't have control over it. That's absolutely what's happening.
Well, that's a fact. Because if you really look at who owns or what organization or corporation actually owns just CNN and even Fox, it all pretty much links up to the same organization. It's kind of like a pyramid or a web that shows all the companies that pretty much at the end of the day are all controlled by one company, one organization. Which is kind of crazy because you don't want, especially when it comes to media or where just anybody gets their information, you don't want it to be controlled in any way. You want people to be able to hear both sides and then come to their own conclusion of what's going on. So if you have two kids, and one of the kids said, he hit me, and the other kid said, I didn't, he fell, you're gonna figure out, okay, so he says he hit me, did he actually hit him or did he fall? And you're gonna look at the injury, you're gonna do your own research on, okay, if he said you fell, where did he fall, you know? And then you're gonna come to the conclusion, oh wait, he didn't fall, you're an asshole, you hit your brother, whatever. That's how that works. You can't just only listen to the kid who said, no, he fell, and then now you're looking at the other kid and saying, wow, you're a fucking liar. You were gonna throw your brother under the bus because you actually fell, and you saying that you got hit. Do you understand what I'm saying? I know that analogy is a little out there, but it's initially the same thing. You can't just take one, because then you're gonna be biased towards the other. You know, of course, everybody's gonna have their own biases, but when you have all the information, or as much information as possible, because sometimes it's impossible to get all the information, but when you have as much information as possible from doing as much research as possible, then you can come to your own conclusion, and it's pretty great.
Rogan's number one rule is that his interests level, he'd be interest for sure. Well, I don't know, but like, I'm just saying in general.
I don't know whether or not the left or the progressives did or didn't. I am certainly not going to defend anyone on the inside who might have said that's too something.
That's
the one
so
thing
stupid.
I will say is that I'm sure there was discomfort with some of the people that he has had on his show, including Alex Jones, in terms of not pushing back hard enough.
Yeah.
No, there's not. There's no discomfort about that. There's just a few retards that are mad on the internet for no reason.
A couple times, I think.
Hate YouTube ads? You need this.
Yeah, I do.
I feel like I just found a
you're on
Google
one of
cheat
them.
code. This Chrome extension.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Like, I mean, that's really about it. You guys are starting? Yeah, I mean, it's just nobody actually thinks that his fan base loves Alex Jones. Like, Alex Jones is his close friend. Yeah, like, what are we talking about? Joe said that they wanted to edit and travel somewhere else to do the interview. Would you go on InfoWars? Would I go on InfoWars?
Come on. Let's fast forward this.
Like, the reason I said InfoWars is because
I think in the end of it, a little difference because of what we saw in the electoral vote.
What is this?
On pushing back hard enough.
Oh, Alex
So,
Jones.
I don't think it's that simple.
I would just offer, I think
It is that simple. Nobody gives a fuck about that. All the people that were complaining about Alex Jones being on Joe Rogan were a bunch of hysterical musicians that were mad at Spotify, and then nothing ever
Pretty
happened.
much.
a little difference because of what we saw in the electoral vote. So, Philippe, thank you. Matt, thanks. Gentlemen, we'll talk again soon. Thank you. I'm Steve.
Wow. Great stuff. Interesting. I'm sure there is multiple reasons why she wouldn't have wanted to go on the show. Who knows? Honestly, who knows? There's so many different speculations. Maybe she was afraid of being asked questions that were too difficult. There's speculations that she doesn't even think about the stuff that she's saying. She has like a handler or somebody who's she's like a puppet. When somebody's telling her what to do, she does. When whoever tells her to jump, she doesn't say why, she says how high. And there's a lot of things like that. Do I know, or do I have an idea of what it could be? Honestly, I don't know. I've never spoken to the women. I can just go by, her actions, and from what I've seen, it's not good. You've seen what I've seen. We both have eyes, and if you don't have eyes, you have ears, and if you don't have eyes and ears, you have touch, and if you don't have all three of those, then aren't you kind of like Helen Keller? Doesn't Helen Keller? No, she has touch. She just can't see or hear. That's difficult. Damn. Life stuff. But anyways, that went off topic. But if you like the video, please like the video. Help me out. Click subscribe. Subscribing will help me out so much. I lost so many subscribers because I was gone, but I'm going to be making content a lot more frequently. If you want to go above and beyond, please check the description. We do have still some magnets left. They're eating the pets. It's hilarious, actually. There might be even new merch. I don't know. Check it out. Maybe you're watching this video 10 years from now. There's definitely going to be some merch by that point. Check it out. But as always, if you like the video, again, leave a like, and I will always see you in another video.